morning. We're kicking it off, another year. Feels like a Monday, but it's really a Tuesday. Wins, aha moments. Yeah, that's right. Today is our Facebook Tuesdays. I was thinking we were still running the normal on Zoom class. We're doing our live. I got Zach in my ear. It's good to have Zach back as well. And he's been out of town enjoying the vacations as well. And we're back to our normal. We're gonna get back into our normal routine again, and sharing this information. We're here on beginning of January, and we should be working on our desires, goals, and visions, and what is it that we truly want to accomplish for the year. 2022 was a good year, a great year. What does 2023 hold for you? What is it that you truly want? What do you want to accomplish? And what are you willing to do to accomplish it? There's several things in this process of life that we call life, and that is setting the destination, setting the direction that you truly want to go in. And if we're just experiencing things and we're really not experiencing what we want to experience, we want to do something different. And we have to decide what that something different is. I know over dinner, we even talked just a little bit of what this next year would have for us. What is our New Year's resolution? I heard that. And if we don't create a resolution to the past, the future seems much the same. And in order to do that, you've got to spend a little bit of time on yourself, with yourself, and decide what it is that you want to change. What do you want to see differently? What do you want to let go of? That's one of the most important things, is what do you want to let go of? What things do not serve you? What's holding you back? What's holding you from growing? And in saying that, you've got to make a mental decision. Mental housekeeping is a big one. Mental housekeeping is very important, because if we don't have clearly defined what we want to see, and we're not reviewing the things that we're doing, we're not going to see what we need to change. And the change needs to be in our habits, our behaviors, and most importantly, in the belief systems. If we're not reevaluating our beliefs, we're not going to see what we need to change. What time do you get up in the morning? What time do you get your day started? How much time do you give to working on yourself? And if we're not giving ourselves enough time to grow, we're not working on ourselves, we're not working on our self-image, nothing's going to change. And the chances are you're going to go back to doing what you were doing before, and you're going to follow right back into the same trend. And if we fall back right into the same trend, life is mediocre. Life is much the same. How do we jazz it up? How do we change things? You've got to set a destination. And you've got to understand that this energy just is. This power that we have inside of us just is. And we color it. We color it with the ideas that we have. And I found that coloring my idea with a vision is really one of the most prosperous things to do. And how do we color it with a vision? Well, we've got to decide what we want to see. This power that we see flowing to and through us is primordial substance, but it is truly the images that we hold in front of it. This energy that we are is primordial substance, but the ideas that we put in front of it give form to it. Here we had Zach say he was going to go to Denver and snowboard. That primordial substance just is. When he decided he was going to give to himself and he's going to put different images in front of it, life had to unfold a different sequence of events. And he experienced it. And much the same in that manner, that's the way life is. Primordial substance just is. It's the images that we put in front of it. And if we don't select the images, there's previous images that have already been pre-selected. It's your old pattern of thought. I'm going to play this for a little bit, and then we're going to go back to our study.
Because they didn't understand how to say that. I didn't even know how to say it. I said it's oses. You don't say the X because it's not sounded. You see, the X represents the power that we're surrounded by. The O represents the potential of power. It has no beginning and no end. And the CES comes from René Descartes. René Descartes said, cogito ergo sum. Translated, freely translated, that means I think, therefore I am. I can think, wherefore I am one with a power that's infinite. You see, our purpose in life, yours and mine, is to become aware of our oneness with this power that's infinite. We're one with it. When we really understand that, then we'll be able to walk on the water, part the sea. You'll say, well, you can never learn how to do that. Wasn't long ago somebody said that about this phone. Or about the plane. Or about the synthetic fibers that our clothes may be made out of. So pretty soon, the OSES was gone because nobody could pronounce it, and Bob Proctor's seminars took over.
I'm going to rewind this again, and I want you to look at the beginning what Bob called the company. And look at the way he explains consciousness. Look at the way he's explaining mind and matter. Look at the way he's explaining this energy that just is and that's perfect.
With you and me, and a power that flows into our consciousness. And this power that flows into our consciousness can be made into any image you want. What do you want? Quit thinking of what you don't want. It's like the song says, what you haven't got could be a lot if you just pretend. Well, let's even start pretending. Let's start pretending that we're earning that much, Marnie. Let's start pretending that you're already doing it now, Sandy. Let's start pretending that we are all over the world, not just in 89 countries, Mikey, all over the world. You get the idea, Raj? You got the idea. That's where I am, and I want you to come with me. You can build any concept you want. Thinking is the highest function, down on the bottom of page 16 again, is the highest function of which a human being is capable. Yet, unfortunately, very few people think. Most people do not think. They don't. They do not think. You'll say, come on, everybody. No. Very rarely do people think. Now, I've mentioned this seminar for a long time, so I know you've heard me mention this seminar for a long time, and I want you to start listening real careful to most people. They would never say what they're saying if they were thinking. They're talking about what they don't want. If they were thinking, they would never do that. They're talking about the problem that they have here in their outside world. If they were thinking, they would never do that. I'm around a lot of people who do that. I don't pay much attention to them. I thought, God bless them. I have told them a couple of times it doesn't work, and then I tell them a couple more times. But if they want to keep doing it, it's their outside world, not mine. If that's where they want to live, they just want to live through what we call our sensories. You see, hear, smell, taste, touch, those little antennae that are hooked up to the conscious mind. Go ahead. What do you really want? What do our sensories, you see, God bless them, I have told them a couple of times, outside world, they would never say people think. Now, I've mentioned this seminar for a long time, so I know you've heard me mention this seminar for a long time, and I want you to start listening real careful to most people. They would never say what they're saying if they were thinking. They're talking about what they don't want. If they were thinking, they would never do that. They're talking about the problem that they have here in their outside world. If they were thinking, they would never do that. I'm around a lot of people who do that. I don't pay much attention to them. I thought, God bless them.
Now, I rewinded maybe a little further than I wanted, but this is really good that I did because it picked up a little bit more information on the way we move this power. And he's fixing to go into the company and why he named it the way he did when he first started. But this energy and this power just is. And if this energy and this power just is, then we change it. We move it. And when he's saying that majority of the people don't think, that's because they truly don't think. Now, thinking is the hardest thing that we'll ever do. Everything that a man is his mind, and everything that a mind is his imagination. But it's normally not a controlled imagination. Normally it's just an imagination that's just running on its own. Normally it's your precognition, your pre-beliefs that are just moving along without any real thinking. Now, when he says thinking, real thinking means to move to a higher state. Real thinking is imagining beyond the circumstances. So when you put the outside world, that's the circumstances. Majority of the people do not think. And if they were thinking, they wouldn't be getting what they're getting. That means they would have already pre-imagined what they wanted to see, and they would be talking about what they wanted to see. If we were really thinking is the hardest thing we'll ever do. But that means you have to be thinking ahead of time, always in advance. Always in advance, not for 1 second. Not for the idea at the dinner table. Not just for a week or 2 weeks, a month. Thinking means imagining. And imagining means working with a vision. You're working towards a vision. And if you don't know what you're working towards, you're lost. And if you're not imagining the sequence of events, you're not imagining and creating a plan and working your plan to that definite end, you're not thinking. Some of you on Facebook may be used to this, new to this. Some of you may have already seen it. You may hear me, may be used to hearing what you're hearing. But do you really understand it? Thinking is continued space repetition. Continued space repetition and clearly defining a vision that you want to see and you're going to bring into the world. Writing it out, then working backwards to where you're at today. With the plan in hand, and then acting it out every day to that definite end. That's thinking. Now, if you're not doing that, that's why your life has stayed much the same. And that's why 97, 98% of the people live more or less the same, because they were never trained to think. That's why people with books of knowledge, they have this intellectually, they have it consciously, but they don't have the understanding physically. The results show it. If we were really thinking and imagining, we'd have a different unfoldment. But nobody ever taught us to control the flow of thought energy to its definite end, whatever you decided it would be. Nobody ever taught us how to control the flow of thought energy, master the mind, master reality. I am mastermind. All men and women are masterminds. They just never have been in control of the flow. They're not cognizant. Mind is movement. The body is the manifestation of the movement. Mind is movement. Matter and form as you see it is a result of the way you think. If and when we decide to control the flow, normally it's just for a few seconds, and then the dream's out the door. The dream was on the dinner table for a few seconds, and then it's out the door. The wish was at bedtime or at nighttime or for a couple of seconds, then it was out the door. You never really decided what you were going to do. True thinking has to be a controlled state. And you've done this, you're just not aware of how you've done it. There's a lot of people all over the world trying to understand the mind. There's a whole lot of people around the world trying to understand what they call the law of attraction, law of vibration. It's one law, vibration. It's one law, it's mind. It's one law, it's alpha. The omega is written in results all around you. And then you continue to move and you think you're going to do something different, and more omega's coming because the alpha didn't change. The beginning, the point of departure, the way you think didn't change. And then you try to do more things with your hands. The omega doesn't change. The results don't change because the predominant way of thinking didn't change. The primordial substance in you has not changed. Now, a lot of times people won't change until they're at definite defeat or they've hit rock bottom. They won't change. Until then, there's another way. Or maybe you teeter and totter back and forth. You start to get real bad and you go back up, and then you kind of let off the gas pedal, and here you go again, just floating along. And then you finally go down, and then you go pick it up again. Because you don't want to understand your mind. Just enough just to get by. Majority of the people use their mind just enough just to get by, and they stop thinking. Majority of people use their mind just to get by. Maybe a little more. And then they stop thinking. They stopped imagining. Majority of people went through college, went to school, went to college, and they thought to get them there. Then they went to college, and they went for 1, 2, maybe 4, maybe 6 years, and they stopped working on their subconscious mind, reprogramming to develop themselves to deliver new experiences. And they stopped there. They stopped thinking. They stopped imagining. And then life just kind of floats on from there. And they still feel empty. Well, because the mind never stops. The mind never stops until it's off to another place. So then if you stopped imagining and you stopped working on you and you stopped developing yourself, you plateaued. You plateaued. And you've experiencing, depending on how long you've stayed plateaued, all you've been doing was experiencing your level of awareness to that point. And you're wondering, why is life the way it is? Why can't I have more? Why can't I be more? Well, you stopped working on you. You stopped imagining farther than when you were at. Somewhere along the line, you lost who you were. Somewhere along the line, you stop believing in you. That's what that means. Somewhere along the line, you let that divine spirit of you, and you started ignoring the want and the desire to grow. Primordial substance, it's the thing that gives you life. Primordial substance, it's the thing that wakes you up in the dawn. It's the thing that wakes you up at night. It's the thing that wakes you up during the day. It's the thing that tells you, hey, you know you're more. It's the thing that shakes you during the day and says, there's more. It's the thing that knows that it was meant for more. And yet you reject it. The lower side of your consciousness, which is your self-image, your old program that says, oh, I can't do that. Oh, it's in them. It's over there. Or it's because of them. It's because of this. It's because of that. Your lower consciousness is always causing you to stop. Let's look at this again.
A human being is capable, yet unfortunately very few people think the concept you want. Thinking is the highest function, down on the bottom of page 16 again, is the highest function of which a human being is capable, yet unfortunately very few people think. Most people do not think. They don't. They do not think. You'll say, come on, everybody. No, very rarely do people think. Now, I've mentioned this seminar for a long time, so I know you've heard me mention this seminar for a long time, and I want you to start listening real careful to most people. They would never say what they're saying if they were thinking. They're talking about what they don't want. If they were thinking, they would never do that. They're talking about the problem that they have here in their outside world. If they were thinking, they would never do that. I'm around a lot of people who do that. I don't pay much attention to them. I thought, God bless them. I have told them a couple of times it doesn't work, and then I tell them a couple more times. But if they want to keep doing it, it's their outside world, not mine. If that's where they want to live, they just want to live through what we call our sensories. You see here, smell, taste, touch, those little antennae that are hooked up to the conscious mind. Go ahead. What do you really want? What do you really want? You know? Now, these people merely trick themselves into believing that there is some mental activity taking place in their mind. They're thinking. But the truth is, most people are simply exercising the mental faculty called memory. They're not thinking at all. They're
Powerful. Majority of the people trick themselves into thinking that they're thinking. Majority of the people trick themselves into thinking that they're thinking. But the truth of the matter is, what they're just doing is using their memory. So important. Lower consciousness, higher consciousness. Beliefs and awareness of a higher intelligence. You will never get there and you will never accomplish more unless you can really understand this. And the people that are unconscious competence, the people that have gone out there and grown and done things, if they were to listen to this, I know that what I'm saying is true. The vision gave them a higher awareness to go beyond what their memory served them. Their vision gave them a higher awareness of how to go beyond what they didn't know how to do. A vision led them to the direction of a definite end that they acquired in life. It was their memory and it was their distinct way of thinking that was keeping them stuck. Everyone around the world, anybody that has gone far beyond what they could have ever have been, They will tell you they were being led by a vision. They were being led by an intuition. They were being led by an inner being. A higher consciousness had to leave the old mainframe of thinking. You cannot use the same type of memory and expect to get different results. You cannot use the same kind of ideas and expect to have a different delivery. You cannot be the same person and stand at the top of the world. By the time you get there, you become a different man because you were working with a vision. And that means you had to have rewritten your beliefs. You had to have been rewriting your ideas about yourself to yourself. There's only one way, and it's thinking. And thinking is imagining. One way. And if not, majority of people use these little sensory factors, the senses, to make their decisions in life. What did she say? What did he say? How about you? What do you think? What do you think I should do? You're using your sensory factors to ask people around you what you should do in life and how to do it. And then you're asking people that have never done it before, and you're asking people that are stuck. How in the hell do you think you'd get unstuck if you're asking people that are programmed the same? And if 97% of people are stuck, chances are you're asking the wrong crowd. If 97% will not grow and they'll stay more or less and live more or less mediocre lives, why would you ask them? You don't even question that. You don't even question your awareness of why you would surround yourself with people that don't know where they're going either. You don't ask the question, why would I ask them? And they're getting the same or worse results than me. Or you're asking them and they're only making 20, 50,000 more above than you. And they're stuck. Why would you ask the people that are not going to go anywhere different, that are using the same amount of mental faculties to help you go beyond? Interesting. Because we don't think. Let's look at this again. It's through the repetition that you understand. You could see this 100 times and still not understand it. Until your actions are changing, you still don't understand this. This is why we do this every day, over and over and over again, Monday through Friday. Teaching, until finally I say I understand. Until finally it hits your subconscious and you start taking action. If you're not taking action, you're not getting it. Because you don't get the understanding until you practice it, until you act it out. Until your mind can tell your body what to do, that's when you understand whether your mind is working, whether your mind is really in command of the body. Nobody taught you how to control the mind, and nobody told you how to take possession of your own mind. And you're not going to learn it until you express it out in behaviors, until you can say, body, sit down. Body, you're going to study. Body, we're going to take this information and we're going to go act it out and see how well it works. And then we're going to figure out how I can get better at it till I get to my determined end. When I looked up and I found out that it was me that put that hammer in my hand as a young man, when I looked up and I realized that it was me that did the things that put me in the situations that I no longer wanted to be in, when I understood that it was my old programming that set up a chain of events because I was not controlling the way I was thinking, that set me up for failure, I started to change that part of me. You can't blame anybody. I couldn't blame anybody. When I took personal responsibility over what I had done, there was nobody else to look towards. There was nothing else to look towards. I did those things.
These people merely trick themselves into believing that there is some mental activity taking place in their mind. They're thinking. But the truth is, most people are simply exercising the mental faculty called memory. They're not thinking at all. They're playing old movies. The old pictures just keep flashing back on the screen of their mind. And we say it's imperative that you begin this new way of thinking at this moment. You want to start now. You don't have to wait until this course is over. For goodness sake, don't do that. I believe over the next 26 weeks, this company, the Procter Gallagher Institute, we're going to do some absolutely phenomenal things over the next 26 weeks. And if you go and ask anyone in this company, anyone, I don't care where you go, guarantee you they will agree with you. There's a vibration in this company that's really quite extraordinary. And it's not me. It's everybody in the company. The beautiful truth is, it's the people have come together, and they're coming together as one. You see? What do you want? What do you really want? Your body is comprised of millions of cells. Your body is made from the same stuff the air is made from. Your body is made from the same stuff this book is made from. Your body is made from the same stuff this phone is made from. And so is mine. My body's made from the same stuff this tie is made from. What we want to try and understand is that everything in the universe is made from the same stuff. Spirit is omnipresent. It is 100% evenly present in all places at the same time. Now, you might be doing very well and think you're doing very well. You're doing nothing compared to what you're capable of doing. That's the part I keep slapping myself on the head with. Come on, Proctor, you can do better than this. And I know I can. And I know you can. And that's what this masterclass is all about. This masterclass is about you and I becoming aware that we are capable of doing better than we're doing. And then through sharing the ideas with other people, we're going to do it. Really don't think. And I thought people are out looking for an opportunity. I had a text from a young lady here just the other day, and oddly enough, we found an opportunity for her. But she was wondering if, and I don't know her, I know her relative of hers, and she's out looking for an opportunity. And I thought, why doesn't she just sit and create an opportunity? See, opportunity has to do with giving. Most people think it has to do with getting. No, opportunity has to do with giving. Find a better way to put it out there and make it happen. You see, we've got everything going in our favor. We really do. We're fortunate that we've got all this great information. It's like Scott said, we don't wonder if this works. This is based on a lot of years of watching it work. When somebody asks me, how do you know it'll work? Well, I feel like something like Orville and Wilbur when they say, you can't fly, and they say, I know I can, I just did. See, I've got on a plane, I've gone to another city with nothing but a pad and a pen and a few dollars in my pocket and started a company. I remember when I went to England, I always wanted to live in England, and I don't know why. Maybe I did in another life or something, but I always wanted to live there. So I thought, I'm going to go and open a company there. And I'll stay there for a while, and then I'll sell it. And that's exactly what I did. I lived there for a year. Then I sold the company, but I wanted to come back. I didn't want to live there any longer, but I wanted to keep going back. So I wrote into the contract that I would consult with them for the next year, and I would visit them once a month. I put together reports and evaluate what they were doing, and of course somebody else was paying for me to go, and they were paying me for be there. I was thinking, you see. Well, I want you to start thinking and say, what are you going to put in here? What kind of an idea? How big will the idea be? How beautiful will it be? And let's just think of how we can. And the idea that we can't, we don't even want to go there. It doesn't matter whether you've ever done it before. It doesn't matter whether you can afford it. It doesn't matter whether you've got the money. It doesn't matter whether you've got the help. It doesn't matter whether you've got the relationships, whether you've got the resources. It's only one thing: do you want to? Do you want to? See, that's all these guys went on. That's all the Wright brothers, Thomas Edison, Salk, Alexander Graham Bell. That's all they went on. This is what I want. It's like the story of Ford. He was building the cars. He told the engineers to go away and make him a V8 engine. The engineers, to a man, come back and said it can't be done. He was writing their checks. He said, I know, go and do it. And they come back, can't be done. I know, go and do it. And of course he got his V8 engine. Why did he know? Because he could see it. He knew if he could see it, he can do it. Now, that's really what the concept of Born Rich is all about. You see, you are a spiritual being. Spirit's all there is. It's over here. It's up here. It's here. It's here. It's here. It's here. It's here. It's here. Spirit's everywhere. Now, Spirit's all there is, and Spirit's flowing freely to and through us. And we have these marvelous mental faculties to create images of whatever we want. Now, I know there's all kinds of people say, but you've got to be realistic. I am being realistic. Come down to the bottom of page 15. Now, let's think again. Here we are here. At the bottom of page 15, it says, we are floating in an ocean of thought energy, where all the knowledge there ever was or ever will be is present. We're also surrounded by abundance. Indeed, everywhere we look in nature, our eyes come in contact with abundance. Nature knows no such thing as failure. There never has been and there never will be a lack of anything except conscious awareness. But if you're going to begin to penetrate the world of wealth, it is absolutely essential that you begin to think. In other words, you must open your mind to the stream of thought energy, which will create an image or a consciousness of prosperity in your mind. If you had known me when Ray first gave me this book, and then you take a look at me today, you would never, ever believe that I'm the same person. Well, the truth is, I'm not the same person. I didn't go back to school. I didn't go to some college and take a winter course. I didn't do any of that. I never got a degree in anything. But I'm going to tell you something. I have a conscious awareness that if I can see it and I want it, I can have it. And if I can see it and I want it and I really want it, I will have it. It's like when Arash and Mikey and I were talking, I said, we will do this then. We'll have a master class. And you know what I know just while I'm saying this? There's going to be a lot of spin-offs from this. That's right. About halfway down page 16, if you're working from the book, consciousness is and always has been developed through thinking. And regardless of what your present situation in life may be, if you ever hope to improve it and truly become wealthy, as this book suggests you can, you must begin thinking of prosperity in your mind now. Not when the book is finished or this course master class is finished. Not when you finish the chapter. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month or next week. It must be done right now. This is what I'm going to do. I was talking to Linda the
I'm going to go into what Bob is talking about, what we've been talking about, and what you're talking about every time you look in the mirror. Where am I going? What am I doing? Who am I? What do I really want? Every time you're looking in the mirror and you're trying to decide, you're trying to think beyond, but you don't get the image and you don't understand it. You really don't understand how to get to where you want to get to. This little picture here will bring order. Now, it doesn't look like much, but it brings order. We want to understand the mind. We want to understand what the mind is. We've got to understand this picture. In the center of our being, there's a vibration that's going on. This vibration that's going on is thinking. It's imagining. But on an average rule of thumb, this mind that is thinking is rarely controlled. This mind that is thinking is rarely controlled. This mind that is thinking is perpetual transmutation of thought energy. This mind that is thinking is the perpetual transmutation of thought energy. This mind that is thinking is always vibrating. Call this thing the resonator. This thing that is vibrating and thinking, we color it according to the thoughts that we're thinking. And as we color it, we set a chain of events. Now, Bob said earlier, I'm going to tighten this up a little bit in case there's somebody new looking at this. This top half is the conscious mind. The bottom half is the subconscious mind. In the subconscious mind, we have a filing cabinet, storehouse of information. And a general rule of thumb, this box is what normally is telling the perpetual law how to think. Because the mind needs ideas. The mind needs the mind. Perpetual, the law needs, the perpetual law needs. The mind needs ideas to move. The mind needs ideas to transform. Watch this. Now, you'll get this later on. Go back and rewind this over and over and over again. The mind needs ideas to transform. quality of life. Transform. We're transformers. The mind needs ideas to transform, to coexist with, to co-create, to co-collaborate. Look, why did you want coffee this morning? That's what you were born into. Somebody thought of making it easier for you. And they delivered the beans, set up a machine, a system to deliver the beans bright and early, and they asked other people to work towards this definite end and trade their services so that you can have this coffee. Definite ends. Somebody thought they were worthy to cooperate and co-create with creation. And they thought of ideas to bring happiness and fulfillment to you in the morning without you having to go to the farm and do it yourself. They thought it. They got it. They reaped the rewards. Why didn't you get it? Why didn't you think it? Because you don't think you've got the ability to cooperate with creation. The mind is perpetual transmutation of thought energy. The mind is always thinking, but it needs what? Ideas to transform. So by law, this mind that is perpetually thinking, look, the mind never stops. It never turns off. When you're awake, it's always thinking. And much like that funny movie where it says squirrel, and the little dog goes here, and the little dog goes there, and then he goes over here, and he goes back over there, and then he goes back to the squirrel. That's the way a lot of men's minds work today. Dog, cat, refrigerator, TV, phone, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, him, her, it, that. Never focused to a definite end. Just jumping around. The plaything of everything around it. Because he's never controlled the mind. This mind that works with ideas is transforming its normally memory. This is the biggest thing in your life if you ever get this, is that the perpetual transmutation of thought energy, it truly just is. But here is the creative part of it. This perfection truly is. But the key is it is normally transforming your memories, your beliefs, your ideas. Therefore, the law follows a pattern plan. And if it's always using your memory and thinking, how could you be something more? The average individual is using his sensory factors. Right now, you can hear me. The question is, are you listening? Listen means to go up. Hear means go down. When you step this up a notch and you're so emotionally involved, you start to listen. Sensory factor. You can see with your ears, see with your eyes, you can hear with your ears, you can taste, touch, and smell. These are the sensory factors. This has you hooked up to the physical world. You use these to understand not the present. You are clearly understanding the past. By the time you get this, what I'm telling you, your body, this is the instrument of the body is the instrument of the mind. How do we know you get it? Because you can feel your outside world. You are a projection. By the time you get this, it's already happened. You live in a physical world of which you are the center. The way you think is the center. And the outer ring that surrounds you is what? Let's look at your outer ring. The car. What else? The home you live in. This is 3D world. But the 3D world is a result. The amount of money you earn, the relationships that you have, all attracted to you because you're the center. But when you look at your physical world, you're looking at the past. Everything in the physical world is the past. Look, I thought, therefore I saw. I thought I would like coffee. And then I experienced it. I held it in my hands. The past. I'm here talking to you on a Tuesday morning because we had already had the idea of doing this on Tuesday mornings. Result. So when we're looking at the present, this is not the present. This is the past. Everything in this room, the past. Before the building even became a reality, we were already thinking about doing a mastermind, doing an Institute of the Mind and helping people. The past. We want to pierce the future. We want to look into the future and we say, what would I like for 2023? If you're not present, determining with an image of the future, you'll never see it in reality. Right now, it's set in a preamble for tomorrow and the day after. If you cannot decide right now what you want to be, what you want to see, you quickly and automatically go back to the senses that tell you everything. You go back here to the senses to judge and to decide on everything that you see right now. And then if you go back to your memories to try to create a new future, you fell. Not because you can't do more, but because you're going back to the old, what? Memories, which are your beliefs. And if you go back to your beliefs, you are all you've got. And then you start to say, well, that's me. And this is my old self-image. And then you look at the conditions and the circumstances, well, I can't be anymore, I can't be anymore because of this and that and the other. But you didn't go to the higher side of your personality. You've got to travel beyond all this mess and go back to everything that is perfect, infinite possibilities. They were all here. But nobody can decide for you. Infinite possibilities. The only way to go there is by the imagination. And you may say, well, it's never worked before. It has. You have used this process before. Before you went to go look for to go to college, why in the hell do you want to go to college? Because you were imagining beyond where you're at. You've already used this power. You just used it very limited and then you stopped again. I'm going to go to college. For what? Well, you started to imagine what you would want to do, who you would want to be, what you would like to see. You started to use the higher side of your personality. And then you started to pick on purpose to a definite end. But somewhere along the line, you stopped thinking. And if you did acquire the purpose, you did acquire the thing, you stopped imagining beyond that point. What is the mind? Perpetual transmutation. If you don't keep going beyond who you are and what you are, Here comes a perpetual law. And then you see it over and over and over and over in the house, in the car. You may change them, but it's the same thing more or less. The relationship's the same because you haven't changed. There's only one way to change. And that's by going beyond what you see. And you've got to create a new vision on purpose to a new definite end. Otherwise, you remain the same because you keep taking your memories and your beliefs in the now and the senses and in the past, and you keep reproducing them over and over and over again. We're at our point, we're a little past our point. Mind is the master thing that molds and makes, and man is mind. This is all we can ever be, evermore. It's what you see. Unless you change. Unless I change. What do you want? I didn't go where I'm at by accident. I came here and I landed here right on purpose with the vision that I was working on. And you can do it too. You can do it too. Determined imagination, thinking from the end. I need to be a determined imagination, thinking from the end. I need to be a determined imagination, thinking from the end. And then working it back to where I'm at today with a plan on purpose to that definite end. And if we can start to think in this manner, our whole life's going to change. Welcome to I Am Mastermind, Institute of the Mind. We do this every day because it's through repetition that you get it. We do this every day because it's through repetition of a new idea that you change. We do this every day because it's through the repetition and being more consciously aware of who you are that you can change. I was getting up every morning and nobody came with me. I'm the one that changed. All those people that I invited to come with me stayed, and they're living much the same. What do you want? Who do you want to be in a year from now? I could take you there. We could take you there as a company. We have programs every weekend, teaching people how to reprogram the subconscious mind and how to stay on track all week long with Scaling for Life. You can do it too. If I can do it, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Thank you guys, and everybody have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Have a good day.